Hi everyone, Mrs. Hayward again. So I also decided to do a video on rehearsal techniques for Saved. So thinking about Saved, we're going to be using naturalistic rehearsal techniques that will help us. So in a real world, things like roll on the wall and even hot seating are not necessarily the sorts of things that you'd use in a professional theatre. But that's not to say that you can't write about them for your exam. So ones that you can write about for your exam are roll on the wall and hot seating, because you know clearly what they are. Then we've got 7 stages of tension, which was developed originally at Jacques Lecoq in Paris at his school, and used by Keith Johnston, who does lots of improv, and it's looking at the body and how tense it is during particular moments. So stage 1 being you can't move at all because you're catatonic, so every single one of your muscles is relaxed. So the idea being that you can't move anything because you're too relaxed. Then number 1 is like, yeah, that's number 1. Then number 2 is Californian almost, so you're like really chilled, as if like, you know, there's no tension there at all really. You're just like barely like a zombie almost walking around. Then you've got 3, which is neutral, so just using, you know, bare minimum amount of effort. Then you've got 4, which is alert, and that's kind of how we are on a day-to-day basis. So that's kind of like how I'm being now, which is kind of engaging and using some of my muscles. I don't necessarily need to use my hands, but I am using it. Then we've got 5, which is suspense, and this is the idea of we're waiting for something to happen. So we're feeling very stressed. We're, you know, someone's following us, or we're waiting for a really important phone call, or we're sitting outside the head teacher's office and the tensions are really high. Then we've got 6, which is melodrama. That's where the thing has happened. So as if the bomb has exploded, or I've found out that my leg has just been cut off. I've found out that there is no more episodes of The American Office. I'm screaming. I'm like, no, this is the worst thing ever. And then we've got stage 7, which is petrified. And that's where every single muscle in your body is really tense. So you're like a stone statue. And in theory, again, you shouldn't be able to move because you've got too much tension in your body. So 1 and 7 in a weird way are kind of similar. So thinking about those 7 states of tension might be quite a useful way to explore certain scenes. So for example, you know, on when Pam comes in, she might start off at a level, you know, 3. She's quite neutral. She can't really be bothered. Then she goes up to a 4. Because she's starting to be quite alert. She's looking for her radio times. Then it goes up to a 5 because she's getting quite stressed, and how's that showing? And then eventually she goes up to a 6 because she sort of explodes at Len, is like rah, 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 rah. So thinking with the actor, right, how can I use that rehearsal technique? On what particular line will it be useful? And when could she sort of move up those notches or move down those notches? So it would be interesting as well to see how Harry and Mary react in scene 11 with the teapot, how the gang reacts. I mean, generally they're always quite high tension anyway, but interesting to see how sort of the actors, how you could use 7 levels of tension with your actors, why on certain lines you would use particular numbers, and how that would help the actor with their physicality. Another one you could use is emotion memory, obviously developed by Stanislavski. Very good for naturalistic acting. Thinking about a time where we felt really frustrated. So on what line do I really want to have that frustrated thought? On what line do I want to have that really jealous thought? On what line do I want to have that I'm going to have fun murdering a baby thought? So obviously as an actor, especially with something as dark as Saved, it's very challenging in order to show those particular, you know, acting skills. So we've got emotion memory. We've also got magic if, classic Stanislavski again, where we're imagining, you know, what would I do if I was in this situation? That's quite a tricky one because hopefully none of us would ever be in the situation where we were murdering a baby, but you know, never know. So imagine, you know, how would I feel? How would I react to this? Another good one to be using is status cards. So looking at different status of the characters. So if you've got a pack of playing cards and you pick one up and you say, you know, right, I've got the Jack this time, so I'm being Pam, and then the character playing Mary has got a king. So obviously the jack is still quite high, but the king's higher. So knowing that you've both got those cards, how does that affect the status? And then maybe you'd rehearse the scene again, but this time Mary has pulled out a 2 and Pam has pulled out an ace. So Pam has got so much more status. So again, just nice to improvise. You could also try off-script improvisation. This is a really useful one, just to rehearse different scenes that with, you know, surrounding the text. So it might be in between, I'm going to do some off-script improvisation to show what happened between scene 1 and scene 2 between Len and Pam. So it starts off obviously scene 1 where they're together, they're having a bit of flirty banter. First night they have sex, and then scene 2, some time has passed. They're talking. Well, Len is talking about getting married, and Pam seems to be quite hostile. Len's already moved in as a lodger. So what happened in that period of time? What exactly is going on? It might also be interesting to explore with scene 3, where we learn that Pete has just attended the funeral of the boy who he ran over with his motorbike and like knocked into the road. What exactly happened with that? How did he feel? He obviously felt really great about it, didn't really care. But the idea is that you're trying to show, if you get a 10 marker or a 30 marker, so the 30 marker is just going to be a lot more detailed. You're trying to show the examiner how you as a director understand the importance of rehearsal techniques and how you can use those rehearsal techniques with your actors to unlock the text again. So don't be general with it. Don't just be like, I'd use hot seating to, you know, and I'd ask Len these questions. Okay, well, why would you ask him those questions? Why hot seating? That's why I think 7 States of Tension is a really good one, because you can really pick out those lines and say exactly why you'd use it. And same with emotion memory. So you've got to quote the text always. So why are you using that rehearsal technique on that line with that actor? And why, as a director, so if you're a good director, which, you know, you are, you really want to show them that these techniques are meaningful and that they will help the actor understand the character and the context, and they will unlock the text. So I hope that helps. Okay, good luck as always.